The year was 2147. Earth had finally built its first ship that could travel faster than light. The ship was called the Endeavor. It was not very big, but it carried hope. Captain John Harris stood on the bridge. He was a calm man with short gray hair and steady blue eyes. He had spent 20 years flying old ships around the solar system. Now he had the chance to see what was beyond. Next to him stood Lieutenant Commander William Grant. William was younger, tall, and always ready with a quick plan. He watched the screens with sharp focus. Dr. Elizabeth Morgan, the chief scientist, sat at her station. She had curly brown hair and loved asking questions no one else thought of. The three of them had trained together for this moment. The wormhole opened like a bright circle in the black of space. The Endeavor slipped through. When the ship came out the other side, the crew went quiet. Stars looked the same, but everything else was different. Ahead lay a wide lane full of ships. Huge cargo vessels moved in neat lines. Strange triangle-shaped fighters darted between them. Lights flashed in patterns that looked like a language. "Multiple contacts," William said in a low voice. "They are all around us." John leaned forward. "Open a channel. Standard greeting. Let's be friendly." Elizabeth sent the message. "This is the Earth ship Endeavor. We come in peace. We wish to explore and trade." For a long minute, nothing happened. Then a deep, clicking voice filled the bridge. The words came with a translation program that made them sound cold. "Unknown vessel. You have entered Krellian Empire space without permission. This is a restricted trade corridor. State your tribute and prepare to be boarded." John frowned. "Tribute? We are not here to pay anyone. We are explorers from Earth. We want to talk, not fight." The voice answered fast. "Earth? That small blue rock? Your kind has no place here. The Krellian Empire controls these stars. You will lower your shields and allow inspection. Refuse, and we will take your ship by force." On the main screen, the patrol fleet appeared. 5 large warships, shaped like sharp insects. Their hulls were black and shiny. Long spines stuck out from the sides. Smaller fighters swarmed like angry bees. At the center floated the flagship. It was twice as big as the others. Red lights pulsed along its body. William checked his console. "Their weapons are hot. Energy readings are off the charts. They can tear us apart in seconds." John kept his voice even. "We are a science vessel. We carry no heavy weapons. Our mission is peaceful. Please let us pass." Laughter came through the speakers. It sounded like dry branches breaking. "Peaceful? You humans are new. You think words stop us? The Empire has crushed bigger races. You are nothing." Elizabeth whispered. "They are scanning us. They see our drive is new. They think we are weak." John took a slow breath. "Show them we are not afraid, but do not raise weapons. We do not want war on our first day." The Krellian flagship moved closer. A bright beam shot out. It was not a full attack. It was a warning. The beam hit the Endeavor's rear engine section. Metal screamed. Lights flickered. Alarms rang across the bridge. "Engine 2 is down," William reported. "We lost half our thrust. We can still move, but not fast." John clenched his fist. "Damage report." "Shields held," Elizabeth said, "but another hit like that will break us." The clicking voice returned. "That was kindness. Next time we aim for your core. Surrender now. Send your captain to our ship in a small craft. Bring gifts of value. Do this, and you may live." John looked at his crew. Faces were pale, but no one panicked. He spoke into the open channel. "This is Captain John Harris. Earth does not bow to threats. We did not come to fight, but we will defend ourselves if we must. Let us leave your space. We will go back the way we came." More laughter. "You speak bravely for a small creature. Your ship is damaged. Your weapons are toys. We will take you now." The fighters started to close in. Their weapons glowed green. William turned to John. "We have one chance. The wormhole is still open behind us. If we push the engines hard, we can make it back." John nodded. "Do it. Full power to the remaining engines. Elizabeth, record everything. Every word, every ship, every shot. We need proof." The Endeavour shook as the good engine roared. The ship turned sharply. Krellian fighters fired. Beams flashed past. One grazed the hull and left a long black scar. "Shields at 30%, William called. John kept his eyes on the wormhole. "Hold on." The ship dived toward the bright circle. The bridge lights dimmed. Sparks flew from a panel. Elizabeth held her station tight. Just before the wormhole swallowed them, the Krellian flagship fired a heavy shot. It missed by meters. The shockwave pushed the Endeavour through. The bright light faded. The ship was back in human space. Silence fell on the bridge. William let out a long breath. "We made it." Elizabeth checked her screens. All data saved. Video, audio, scans. We have everything. John sat back in his chair. His hands were steady, but his heart beat fast. "Send a priority message to Earth Command. Tell them what happened. Tell them the galaxy is not empty. And tell them it is not friendly." Hours later, the Endeavour limped toward Mars Station. Repair ships met them halfway. News spread fast. People on Earth watched the recordings. They saw the huge Krellian ships. They heard the cold demands. They saw the warning shot that almost killed their people. In cities and towns, people stopped what they were doing. Screens showed the same video again and again. Anger grew. Fear grew too. But mostly, people felt something strong. They felt pride. Humans had met a giant empire and come home alive. Leaders met in a hurry. Old enemies sat at the same table. They agreed on one thing. Earth must stand together. They formed the United Terran Defense Council that same week. Money went to ships and weapons. Scientists worked day and night. Engineers built new engines and shields. John Harris stood before the council. They gave him a new rank, Commodore. They asked him to lead the defense plans. He did not smile. He only nodded. "I did not want this," he said in a quiet voice. "But they forced our hand. They think we are weak. They think we will break. They are wrong." William and Elizabeth stood with him. They knew the truth. The Krellians had made a mistake. They had shown humans what was out there. Now humans would prepare. They would build. They would learn. And if the Empire came again, Earth would be ready. The stars waited. The warning had been given. But the real message was still coming. Months passed after the Endeavour came home. Earth changed fast. People no longer argued about small things. They worked as one. Factories ran day and night. Old ships got new weapons. New ships rose from dry docks on the Moon and Mars. Everyone knew the Krellians would come back. The question was not if, but when. Rear Admiral Daniel Brooks stood at the head of the new United Terran Defense Council war room. He was a strong man, with a deep voice and a scar on his cheek from an old mining accident. He looked at the big screen that showed the Sol system. Red dots marked where Krellian scouts had already been seen. They were testing, watching, learning. "Reports confirm it," Daniel said. "Their main fleet is moving, over 10,000 ships. They call it an extermination force." Around the table sat the best minds. Sofia Rivera, the young engineer with quick hands and bright ideas, tapped her screen. She had dark hair tied back and never stopped thinking. "We have only 200 armed ships ready. Most are small. Their smallest cruiser is bigger than our biggest." Daniel nodded. "Numbers are bad, but numbers are not everything. What do we have that they do not expect?" Sophia smiled a little. "We think different. They fight in straight lines, Big formations, slow turns. We can use speed. Small groups, surprise. Next to her sat Dr. Elizabeth Morgan. She had come back from the Endeavor stronger. We studied their scans. Their shields are strong against direct hits, but they waste power on show. We can overload them with many small attacks, like bees on a bear. Commodore John Harris listened quietly. He now wore the new uniform of Fleet Command. His eyes moved over maps of the outer system. They will come through the asteroid belt first, then Jupiter orbit, then Mars. We make them pay at every step. The council agreed on the plan. Hide, hit, run, never stand still. Build traps in secret. Use every trick humans knew. Far away, in the heart of the Krellian Empire, High Admiral Zorath stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Iron Fang. He was taller than most Krellians, with black armor plates and eyes like cold stars. He looked at the hologram of the Sol system, tiny blue dot, so small. These humans, he said to his officers, they ran like scared insects, yet some voices in the council say we should talk. Talk. He clicked his mandibles in anger. We do not talk to pests, we crush them. Overlord Vexar, the one who first met the Endeavor, stood nearby. His spines were still shiny from repairs. They have spirit, but spirit breaks under weight. Send the full armada. Show the galaxy what happens to those who defy us. Zorath waved a claw. It is done. The fleet leaves in 3 cycles. Earth will be ash. Their name will be forgotten. Back on Earth, people felt the tension. Cities built underground shelters. Families said goodbye to soldiers leaving for the front lines. But fear did not win. Instead, people found new strength. Neighbors helped neighbors. Scientists shared ideas freely. Engineers worked without sleep. Sofia Rivera led a special team in a hidden base on the dark side of the moon. They built something new. Small drones, thousands of them. Each one carried explosives or jamming signals. They looked like rocks until they moved. The Krellians love big targets, she said to her team. We give them many small ones, too many to count. In orbit around Mars, Rear Admiral Daniel Brooks inspected the new defense line. Rings of railguns, missile batteries hidden in old mining craters. Stealth ships waited in the shadows of asteroids. William Grant commanded one of them now. His new ship, the Shadowhawk, was fast and hard to see. We strike the eyes first, William told his crew. Blind them, then the claws. Elizabeth Morgan worked from Earth. She built computer models. She fed them every bit of data from the Endeavor fight. The AI learned how Krellians moved, how they thought, where they made mistakes. They expect fear, she said. We give them chaos. One day, long-range probes picked up the Armada. A wall of ships filled the sky beyond Pluto. Engines glowed like a new sun. Messages came in clear. The same cold, clicking voice. Humans of Earth, your time ends. The Krellian Empire claims this system. Surrender your world, open your cities, or we burn them from orbit. You have 1 cycle to answer. The message played on every screen on Earth. People stopped. Some cried. Most stood tall. Daniel Brooks sent the reply. 1 short message, no video, just words. You have been warned. Do not proceed. The Krellians laughed again. Their laughter filled space. Brave words from a dying race. The Armada moved forward. Slow, sure. They destroyed the first probes. Then the outer listening posts. Each loss hurt, but humans expected it. Every destroyed post sent back data. Every second gave more time. Zorath watched from his bridge. They hide, cowards. We will drag them out. His scouts reported empty space near Jupiter. No fleets, no defenses in plain sight. They run already, one officer said. Zorath clicked in pleasure. Good. Fear moves them. But deep in the asteroid belt, William Grant smiled. His Shadowhawk floated silent among the rocks. Around him, 50 other stealth ships waited. Drones drifted like dust. All quiet, all ready. Sophia sent a final message to the fleet. Traps are set, engines hot, wait for my signal. On Earth, John Harris stood in the command center. He looked at the live feed. The red wave of Krellian ships grew closer. He spoke to the room, but mostly to himself. They think this is easy. They think we are alone. They are wrong. The Armada crossed the outer line. They fired on empty outposts. Explosions lit the dark. Cheers came from Krellian bridges. Then the first trap sprang. Small drones rose from asteroids. Hundreds, then thousands. They flew straight at the lead ships. Not big, not scary, but fast. The Krellians fired. Many drones died, but some got through. They hit engines. Shields flickered. Alarms screamed on alien bridges. "What is this?" Zorath shouted. More drones came, from every direction. Some carried jammers. Screens went white. Others exploded against hulls. Small holes appeared. Air leaked. Panic started. William Grant gave the order. All ships engage. Stealth frigates appeared like ghosts. They fired railguns. Beams cut through weakened shields. A Krellian cruiser broke in half. Fire bloomed in silence. The Armada slowed. Confusion spread. Zorath roared orders. Form defense sphere. Crush them. But humans did not stand and fight. They hit and vanished. Drones kept coming. Missiles from hidden batteries struck from long range. Elizabeth watched the battle feed. They lose formation. Good. Daniel Brooks spoke into the fleet channel. Hold the line. Make them bleed. The Krellians pushed on. But every kilometer cost them ships. Every hour cost them pride. High above Mars, the humans waited for the next move. The warning had been given. Now the real fight began. The stars watched. Earth stood ready. The Krellian Armada pushed deeper into the Sol system. They passed the outer gas giants and aimed straight for Mars. High Admiral Zorath stood on his bridge. His mandibles clicked in satisfaction. The small attacks from drones and hidden ships had cost him some vessels, but not many. He still had thousands left. The humans were bleeding them slowly, but the Empire had blood to spare. "These pests think tricks will save them," Zorath said to his officers. "We will burn their red planet next, then their blue home. Form the hammer formation. Crush anything that moves." The fleet shifted. Huge ships moved into a tight wedge shape. Fighters formed thick walls around the cruisers. Energy shields linked together like a glowing net. Nothing could slip through, they thought. But in the dark shadows near Mars, William Grant waited. His ship, the Shadowhawk, floated silent behind a large asteroid. 50 other stealth frigates hid nearby. Their engines were cold to stay hidden. Crews checked weapons one last time. No one spoke much. Everyone knew this was the moment. Sophia Rivera sat in her command post on Phobos, the small moon of Mars. Screens covered the walls. She watched the red dots of the enemy fleet grow closer. Her fingers moved fast over controls. "Drone swarms ready," she said into the fleet channel. "Release on my mark." Down on Earth, Dr. Elizabeth Morgan worked in the main defense center. Her AI models ran without stop. They showed enemy patterns. "They bunch up when they feel safe," she told Rear Admiral Daniel Brooks. "That makes them slow to turn. Hit the edges first. Force them to spread out." Daniel nodded. "Give the order." The Krellians reached Mars orbit. Their sensors saw nothing but empty space and old human stations. Zorath laughed. "See? They flee. Prepare orbital bombardment. Glass the surface." That was when the trap opened. Thousands of small drones rose from hidden craters on Mars and its moons. They looked like pieces of rock at first. Then they moved, fast, straight at the Krellian wedge. The aliens fired. Lasers cut through many drones. Explosions lit the black sky. But there were too many. Hundreds got past the outer defenses. Some drones carried bombs. They slammed into engine ports. Others released electromagnetic pulses. Shields flickered on the smaller Krellian ships. Alarms screamed across their bridges. Zorath roared, "Swat them! Do not let them close!" But the drones kept coming, wave after wave. While the fleet fought the small attackers, the stealth frigates struck. William Grant gave the command. "All ships, fire!" Railguns spoke from the shadows. Long streaks of metal hit the sides of Krellian cruisers. Shields cracked. Hulls tore open. Air and fire poured out into space. One heavy cruiser listed to the side. Its engines died. The Krellians tried to turn. Their big formation was slow. Human ships darted in and out like fish around sharks. They fired, then vanished behind asteroids or moons. The aliens could not lock on fast enough. Sophia watched her screens. Second wave drones, now. More drones came. These ones carried boarding pods. Small teams of human marines in armored suits shot toward damaged Krellian ships. They attached to hulls, cut inside, moved through corridors. They planted charges on power cores and weapons bays. Some fought hand-to-hand with Krellian soldiers. The aliens were big and strong, but humans were fast and knew every weak spot from captured data. One boarding team reached the engine room of a battleship. They set explosives. The blast ripped the ship apart from inside. The pieces tumbled toward Mars like burning stars. Zorath pounded his command throne. "Recall the vanguard. Protect the flagships." But it was too late for order. Chaos spread through the fleet. Ships fired at shadows. Friendly fire hit their own fighters. Communications jammed from human signals. Captains shouted over each other. William led his squadron in a tight loop. They hit a group of destroyers from behind. Railgun rounds punched through armor. 3 destroyers broke apart. The Shadowhawk took a glancing hit. Lights flickered, but the ship held. "Keep moving," William told his crew. "Do not stop." Elizabeth's voice came over the secure line. "Enemy losses at 20%. Their command structure is breaking. Push harder." Daniel Brooks stood in the war room. He watched the live feed. Explosions bloomed across the screen. "They thought we would roll over," he said quietly. "Now they learn." The battle moved closer to Mars. Krellian ships tried to bombard the planet. Huge railguns on the surface sent slugs at high speed. One hit a Krellian carrier. The carrier split open. Fighters spilled out like seeds and died in the crossfire. Sophia sent her last surprise, a special drone swarm. These carried the new antimatter charges she had built in secret. Small, but deadly. When they hit, they did not just explode. They created tiny bursts of pure energy. Shields vanished in seconds. Hulls melted. One charge struck the side of Zorath's flagship, the Iron Fang. The huge ship shook. Lights went dark on half the decks. Secondary explosions followed. Zorath gripped the arms of his chair. Status: "Shields down to 10%, an officer reported. Engine damage. We lose maneuverability." Rage filled Zorath's voice. "Fall back. All ships fall back to rally point." The Armada tried to retreat, but humans did not let them go easy. Stealth ships followed. Drones chased. Railguns kept firing. More Krellian vessels died on the way out. By the time the survivors reached the edge of Mars orbit, half the invasion force was gone. Burning wrecks floated everywhere. The once proud Armada looked broken. Zorath stared at the damage reports. His claws dug into metal. "How?" he whispered. "How do such small things do this?" An officer answered in a low voice. "They do not fight like us. They fight dirty. They fight smart." Zorath closed his eyes for a moment. Then he opened a channel to the remaining fleet. "Regroup at the outer marker. We call for more ships. This is not over." But deep inside, doubt grew. The humans had not just survived, they had hurt the Empire badly. On the human side, cheers filled command centers, but no one relaxed. Losses were real. Many good ships were damaged. Many brave people were gone. William Grant's Shadowhawk limped back to a repair dock, tired faces, but proud. Sophia walked through her lab. She touched the small model of her antimatter device. "It worked," she said softly. Elizabeth Morgan sent new data to the fleet. "They retreat, but they will come again. Stronger. We must be ready." Daniel Brooks looked out a window at the stars. Smoke still rose from battle sites. "They lost half their force," he said. "We showed them the cost." Commodore John Harris joined him. The warning was not enough before. Now they heard it loud. The battle for Mars was won, but the war was not. The Krellians pulled back to lick their wounds. Humans repaired, planned, waited. The Empire had come to crush a small world. Instead, they found teeth. The Krellian survivors pulled back far beyond Pluto. Their ships limped into a quiet system called Nexera 7. It was a neutral place, with old mining stations and no big defenses. High Admiral Zorath stood on what was left of his bridge. Half the Iron Fang was dark. Crews worked to fix broken parts. The air smelled of smoke and fear. Zorath looked at the damage list. Over 5,000 ships lost. Thousands of soldiers gone. The Empire had never seen such a defeat from a new race. His claws shook with anger. "These humans," he said in a low voice, "they fight like nothing we know, but they will pay." Overlord Vexar stood nearby. His armor had new cracks. "We must call the full reserve fleet, 10 times what we brought. Crush them before the other races hear of this shame." Zorath nodded slowly. "Yes, but first we repair, then we strike again. No mercy this time." Word of the battle spread fast through the galaxy. Traders whispered in dark bars. Client worlds listened in secret. The mighty Krellian Empire had been hurt by a small blue planet. Some smiled, others worried. If humans could do this, what else could they do? On Earth, the mood was mixed. People cheered the victory at Mars. Flags waved in streets, but hospitals filled with wounded. Families mourned the dead. Repair yards worked without stop. New ships slid into space every day. Commodore John Harris walked through the main command center. He looked tired, but calm. Rear Admiral Daniel Brooks met him at the big map table. "The Krellians are regrouping," Daniel said. "Our probes show they call for help. They will come back stronger." John studied the stars on the screen. "We cannot wait here forever. If we stay defensive, they will wear us down. We need to hit them where it hurts." Sofia Rivera joined them. She carried a small datapad. "We captured Krellian navigation codes from the wrecks. It sits in the Kale system, deep in their space. That yard builds half their warships. If we damage it, they cannot replace losses fast." Elizabeth Morgan came in next. She had fresh models running. "It is risky. The yard has heavy guards. But if we go in quiet, strike fast, and leave, we can do real harm." Daniel crossed his arms. "A raid. Small force. In and out." John looked at each of them. "I will lead it. We take the best ships we have left. The Liberty will be my flagship. William Grant commands the stealth group. Sophia, you come for tech support. Elizabeth stays here to guide us with the AI." They planned for days. They chose 12 ships. Fast, quiet, armed with the new antimatter weapons. They loaded extra drones. Boarding teams trained hard. Everyone knew the odds were bad, but no one backed out. The task force slipped out of Sol system one night. They used a captured Krellian wormhole beacon to jump straight into enemy space. No alarms sounded at first. The humans moved like shadows. William Grant flew point in the Shadowhawk. His sensors watched for patrols. "Clear so far," he whispered over the link, approaching the outer marker. Sophia sat in the Liberty's engineering bay. She worked on virus packages. "These will shut down their automated defenses. Give us a window." John stood on the bridge. He kept his voice steady. "Remember the goal. Hit the shipyard. Destroy the big construction slips. No hero moves. We get in, we get out." The Kale system appeared on screens. A yellow star, many planets. At the third planet orbited the huge shipyard. It looked like a metal ring around an asteroid. Dry docks held half-built warships. Cranes moved parts. Lights glowed everywhere. Patrol ships circled the ring. Big defense platforms floated nearby. Energy cannons pointed outward. William's stealth ships moved ahead. They dropped small jammers. The jammers sent false signals. The Krellian sensors saw normal traffic. Nothing strange. The Liberty and the other attack ships followed. They stayed low behind a gas giant moon. "Position set," John said. "Launch drones." Thousands of drones poured out. They flew in quiet groups. Some carried bombs. Others carried Sophia's viruses. They slipped past the outer guards. Inside the shipyard, Krellian workers moved without worry. They thought the war was far away. Then the first virus hit. Lights flickered. Computers froze. Automated cranes stopped mid-air. Alarms sounded late. "Intruder alert!" A voice clicked over speakers. Too late. Drones slammed into the main construction arms. Explosions ripped through metal. Half-built ships cracked open. Fire spread in the oxygen-rich bays. More drones hit power stations. Blackouts rolled across the ring. The Liberty moved in close. Its railguns fired. Precise shots cut support beams. Sections of the shipyard broke away. They tumbled toward the planet below. William's stealth group attacked the defense platforms. They fired antimatter charges. Platforms vanished in bright flashes. No time to fight back. Boarding teams launched. Small pods attached to the main control hub. Human Marines in heavy suits cut inside. They fought through corridors. Krellian guards met them with claws and energy rifles. The fighting was hard. Humans used tight teamwork. They moved fast. They knew the layout from captured maps. One team reached the central computer core. They planted charges. "Set," the leader said. "We are coming out." John watched from the bridge. "All teams, pull back. We are done here." The Liberty turned. It fired one last volley. The biggest dry dock collapsed. A nearly finished battleship broke in two. It drifted dead. As the humans pulled away, John opened a channel. He used the Krellian translation codes. The message went out on every frequency the Empire used. Clear. Strong. Humans warned the Galactic Empire. "Do not mess with us. We seek no conquest. We want no empire. But we will defend our home and our freedom with everything we have. Look at your shipyard. This is what happens when you come for us. The next time you send ships to Sol, we will not stop at your yard. We will come for your capital. Think hard. Choose peace." The message included live video, the burning shipyard, the broken ships, the humans leaving without taking prisoners or land. Across the Empire, billions watched. Client races saw. Krellian citizens saw. Even the High Council on the homeworld saw. Zorath received the message on his damaged bridge. He stared at the screen. His mandibles opened, but no words came. For the first time, he felt small. The task force jumped back through the wormhole. They returned to Earth quiet. No big celebrations, just tired smiles. John stepped onto the command deck. "You did it," Daniel said. John shook his head. We all did. Now they know we can reach them. Now they know the cost. Sophia looked out at the stars. They might listen this time. Elizabeth added new data to her models. The Empire is in shock. Internal messages show arguments. Some want peace, some want revenge. John sat down. He looked older but sure. We gave them the warning, loud and clear. If they come again, we will be ready. But maybe, just maybe, they learned. The galaxy listened. The small blue world had spoken. Not with pleas, with fire. And the stars seemed a little quieter. The message from the human raid echoed across the galaxy. Every Krellian world heard it. Every client species watched the video of their greatest shipyard burning. Flames lit the dark ring. Broken hulls drifted like dead leaves. The words were calm but strong. Humans did not shout. They stated facts, and the facts hurt. On the Krellian homeworld, the High Council met in secret. Tall stone halls, dim lights, leaders sat in a circle. Their armor gleamed, but their eyes showed worry. High Admiral Zorath stood before them. His once proud stance looked smaller now. We lost the yard, he said. Half our building capacity gone. Repairs will take years. The humans did it with 12 ships. They left without taking anything. Just a warning. One council member clicked softly. Other races talk. They say the Empire is weak. Some client worlds already ask for more freedom. If we attack again and lose, the Empire may crack. Zorath wanted to roar, but he stayed quiet. We can still crush them. Send everything, every ship, every soldier. Another leader spoke. And if they reach our capital next time, they showed they can jump deep. They fight in ways we do not understand. Maybe we talk first. The room went still. Talk? To a new race? It had never happened before. But the pictures of burning metal stayed in every mind. On Earth, life moved forward. Cities repaired damage from old attacks. New parks opened. Children played under open skies again. But the stars stayed watchful. Commodore John Harris walked along a quiet path near the command center. He wore no uniform today, just simple clothes. William Grant joined him. They looked at the sunset over the ocean. Quiet for once, William said. John nodded. Too quiet. Makes me nervous. Sophia Rivera met them at the path's end. She carried a small tablet. Probes picked up signals. Krellian ships moving, but not toward us. Looks like they pull back from contested areas. Elizabeth Morgan walked up last. She smiled a little. Internal chatter shows splits. Peace voices grow louder. Some want trade, some want to forget us. Daniel Brooks arrived next. He looked at his old friends. The council sent a message. They asked for talks, under truce, neutral ground. John looked at the group. Do we trust it? Daniel shrugged. We do not have to trust. We just have to be ready. Weeks later, the meeting happened. A small station in empty space between empires. No weapons allowed. Only small escort ships waited far away. The Krellian delegation arrived first. Zorath led them. His armor looked polished, but scars showed on his plates. Overlord Vexar stood beside him. They looked stiff. The human team stepped in next. John Harris at the front, Daniel Brooks on one side, Sophia and Elizabeth on the other. William waited on the ship. No one spoke at first. Zorath broke the silence. You damaged us, badly. We came to end you. You refused to die. John met his eyes. We never wanted your empire. We only wanted to be left alone. Vexar clicked. You warn us like we are children, yet you fight like demons. Sophia spoke softly. We fight to live, nothing more. Talks went on for hours. Words were hard, trust was thin. But slowly, ideas formed. A demilitarized zone around Sol. No Krellian ships closer than a certain line. Humans promised the same. Trade could start small. knowledge shared. No tribute, no bowing. Zorath listened. His anger faded a little. He saw no fear in human eyes, only steady will. At the end, papers were signed. Simple words. Peace, for now. The delegations left. Ships turned home. Back on Earth, news spread slow. No big parades, just quiet relief. People hugged in streets. Families smiled again. John stood on the bridge of the Liberty. The ship floated in high orbit. Stars filled the windows. Grace Thompson, a young tactician who helped plan the raid, stood nearby. "Think it will last?" she asked. John looked out. "Maybe, maybe not, but we bought time and respect." William Grant joined them. "Fleet is rebuilding. New designs, better shields. Sophia already talks about next engines." Elizabeth sent a final report. "Galaxy watches us now, not as prey, as equals." Daniel Brooks called from Earth. His voice came clear over the link. "Good work, everyone. Rest a little. We earned it." John smiled for the first time in months. We did. Months turned to years. Small trade ships arrived at the edge of Sol. Strange goods came in. Humans sent back food, art, stories. Krellian young learned human words. Human children learned clicking sounds. The empire changed slow. Client races gained more voice. Old fears faded. New ideas grew. One day, a Krellian scout ship approached the border. It carried no weapons, just a message pod. Inside was a gift, a small crystal that held star maps, old maps, from races long gone. A note came with it, simple words in human language. "Thank you for the lesson. Strength is not size, it is will." John read it on the Liberty. He placed the crystal on the bridge shelf. It caught the light. A junior officer looked at it. Will they ever try again? John thought for a moment. They might. Power tempts. Pride pushes. But now they know the cost. They know we do not break easy. And they know we do not forget. The fleet patrolled the frontier. Ships moved in calm lines. Lights glowed steady. Humans watched the stars. Not with fear, with quiet strength. The galaxy turned. Wars happened elsewhere. But around Sol, peace held. Small, hard won, real. John stood alone on the bridge, late one night. The stars looked endless. He thought of the Endeavor, the first meeting, the warning shot, the battles, the raid, the talks. He spoke to the empty room. We told them, "Do not mess with us." The stars gave no answer, but they seemed to listen. And somewhere far away, in a high tower on a distant world, Zorath looked at the same stars. He clicked softly to himself. He remembered the small blue dot. He remembered the fire, and he chose not to test it again. The warning had been given. It had been heard. Humanity stood tall, not as rulers, not as conquerors, just as people who refused to kneel. And that was enough. The story of the warning faded into legend, but the lesson stayed. In every ship, in every heart. Humans were here.